Good afternoon, traders. I think we're live on YouTube now. Welcome to the weekly outlook. Let's start. So we have the dollar index. I'll try to go through all the pairs very fast, and then at the end we can take some Q&A. Dollar index, as expected, nothing much happened. We were in a consolidation. We probably will be in this consolidation for a while. There's a good chance that this impulse going down there finished here, and we're going to be in a longer term consolidation at the top here. So if you look at it in a lower time frame, last week we were looking at this, and there was a good chance that that move had to go back up, right? So they broke out here. This would be a good buy setup for most of you, and I think we're getting some consolidations here as well. We'll probably get to consolidations here and there too. We could see them retesting this area. I don't think that will be the goal, because this might not be all of it. So they can come here, come back here, make a three-wave before they go. So you might still be in some sideways move before you get a deeper pullback. So short term, the most immediate short-term trade should be to the upside. On a 1 hour, you could probably, if you want to trade these 1 hour moves, they're very, very small. They're not very effective. You get a drop, you get another drop, you could get another drop, and you get something like this that should go. This is the trade you're looking for, basically. So if you're in the euro, definitely, if you're in the sell in the euro dollar, you want to probably move your stop or get out, because you can see this move is telling us that this piece here, whatever they did there, they're about to make a correction here. So this week we can see this. We will probably see a retest of this area before they go. This and all, that would just be a bigger consolidation. We're some kind of a bigger consolidation. In rare cases, you find that, this is the bigger correction. I don't think it is, or this is all the correction. And this starts to drop, but immediately you can see that there is possibly going to be some move here up. Right, short term, or any trade you take now, whether it's up and down, depends on which setup you get first, right? Mostly I'm looking upside. It will be short term. When it starts to go down, those will be short term trades too. You're not expecting, because you're in a correction, you're not expecting any impulsive move that will go far. So very likely this week we're going to get some upside here first, then the downside, maybe a retest of the top before they go, something like this. Pretty common structure, right? You're not like, you haven't seen that, and then they go finish the move, right? So it's like 1, 2, 3, go down after that. So you're going to be in a sideways move whole of next week. If you can trade that, it's going to be, easy. If not, you'll have to really, really be careful. Pound, the same question we have. How would we look at this pattern? Is it the leading diagonal? If it is, I think pound will probably come out here. We're going to see downside. So if we see a setup that comes out here in a very slow kind of pattern, you're looking for a very, very sharp downside. Now, if this is all the correction of the pound to the downside, right, if this is the low and that's all the correction, there is a buy coming here, but this would be violent. So you can look to buy outside of this structure if it starts to get very sharp, or you can look to buy anywhere in here. And if it gets very sharp, you're in a good trade. But if it goes very slow, then you got to get out of that trade and look for the sell, because the sell is going to be a big one. And in this case, it's not quite easy to tell which is going to happen. I'll have to mute a few times, guys, because I need to take a sip of water every now and then. I'm just getting this kind of flu or something. I don't know what it is, but I'll go through. Just give me a break every now. Okay, sorry about that. Let's go. Yes. So this is not going to go down. You can see that pattern that is telling you they're going to go back for one more up. So you start looking at these two here for that structure. If they get very aggressive, then, then you're going to see what happens here. So watch that, right? Watch that move there. Dijon, should I open the video or just for information for later? One of my traders sent me a video there. Links for the guys. You have it's sent the panelists, they will not see it. You have to, depends who you're sending it for. You'll have to change that to everybody. Okay, let's go. Because beside me, nobody sees that. Okay. So, okay, let's go. Aussie. Aussie's coming up. We made one, we made two. Aussie's not going to go so far. I think Aussie's going to get here. And then we're going to go down. I don't know how that hour will get there. So we're looking for some kind of a 1, 2, 3 structure back to here. If you remember last week, we were saying the same thing. And then I think Aussie begins. So you're getting a buy set up here right now. Actually, we took the buy already. Some of us took that buy already. I'll take this out. You could move that to break even, take this out. It might go some more, but somewhere along here in a running flat pattern, I think we'll be looking at some kind of a running flat pattern or so. Somewhere here, there's a good chance you're going to get downside. So the upside is limited. On a 1 hour, you can still buy, which means there'll be still about 100 or so pips more up. They're making consolidation here. Let them consolidate, and then you go for that. It's rare case where it will stop here. You know, the pattern is complete in 1, 2, 3, but this wave might not be complete. So you can still get more waves up, right? But as it stands, you have 1, you have 2, and you have 3 because we broke the top. So in very, very rare instances, this is where the reversal takes place back to the downside. I still think there's a chance they're going to consolidate here and go 1 more up before they go. So if you get this 1 more up, you take the trade. If you don't get that and they fall sharply, you'll still have to wait for a flag here before they go down, right? So that's always the case with these patterns. You get this pattern here and you don't know whether it's complete there, right? Because as a 3 wave it is, but how long this takes to finish is a question. This could go pretty much more up. So if you get the flag and you get that correction there, buy. And don't, you know, it could go a lot more up. So you look for buy setups. New Zealand, pretty much same thing. I think this one, the only thing I'm looking at this structure as it's coming back down is that they could possibly retest this low in here, make a bigger correction before they go back up. But it's going to go up. It's just a question of whether this is going to come back, retest the low again, and then go. Well, you will not get a buy setup if they do that, and you really don't have a sell setup in that structure. So you're going to probably wait to see what this does. And if you get this here, then you go for the trade. If it drops here, don't try to sell it because it might be dangerous. By the time you get into the sell and where it could stop is going to give you a very bad risk to reward trade and a likely chance of you losing that trade. But to the upside, the trade is very good. CAD, well, just to show you the magic, remember if you were following me, it will come and retest the stop. Most of you we were not sure. We were pretty much not convinced of that being the flat. They have to come back. Well, they have come and they've tested the top. And they're looking like they're going to go down. I'm not convinced it's the downside as yet. There's a good chance this might go 1 more and then come down. So this week, what you'll be looking for is you'll be looking for whether you get that one or whether they break out of this structure. Because if they break out, we're going for a very, very sharp impulse to the downside. And I don't see that sharp impulse coming as yet. Going back to the 4 hour, we're pretty much still in that uptrend, right? They're just coming back to this low, like they did this one. Remember when we were looking at this structure, we knew this was going to go back up, come here, drop here, go back up. So we have a very similar structure here. Come here, go back up 1 more, and then we'll start looking for that side. So maybe this week we'll see if we get that. There is, 1 second. It's not a must that you get that one. I'm just looking at this structure and making an assumption that there is going to be 1 more up because we looked at this piece in here and it doesn't look very impulsive to the downside. It looks more like a correction. So there's a good chance we will get that 1 more up, which means if you're in a sell, and most of you might be in that sell, if you're in that sell, you will not take it off, just move your stops. And if this just breaks through the low, well, you're in a good trade. For those of you who are not in it, you'll have to wait for that before you sell. Those of you who are in it will keep moving your stop because there is a good chance you'll get this one, and then we all get into that big sell to the downside, right? And there is a big sell coming in the CAD, and a lot of the CAD pairs has a similar structure. Swiss upside, I think this one was clear. We're pretty clear that this was going to go up some more, and it's going up. The only thing I thought this, since last week, that was last week, now this week, we thought this one was probably going to make a little low here and then go, well, they broke last week and you had a trade there, you're getting a trade here. This might come slightly more. I don't think they'll come this much, but you can look for upside. Any upside buy you get, you take it now. Because they will go up and this will move up much more than the CAD could move up, right? Because it's moving up within this structure. You can see that, right? So there's a good chance that, you're going to get pullbacks, you're going to get some small consolidation and then go. We're getting a consolidation right now, which is good. You always want to see those consolidations. I don't think it's going to come that far. Probably get somewhere here. We might get a little bigger one, and then we're heading for the upside. And you can start looking for buy setups anywhere. Yen, definitely upside. The only question you will have to have is this break actually going to go for that big move? Remember, there were like 3 attempts already at it. The first attempt was here when they broke this first one and go. That turned out to be a break-even trade. That's the first one when they broke the low. That would be this one here. Remember this? The second attempt was when they break this to go. That turned out definitely to be a break-even trade. There is a next attempt on this one. This piece, the break here, and that one is going good so far. So the only thing you would have to look for is when it gets to this level. Because there's a pattern forming there that we need them to prove it's not doing that, right? There's a very good chance that if we look at this as a running flat to this level, we can't negate that as yet until it's completed, right? There's a good chance they can make one attempt at the low and then go. Remember, this would not change the structure. The bigger structure to the upside will happen. It's just a matter of how long this takes before that happens. And if you're following me for a long while, you would know that sometimes we know what this structure will do. It's just a matter of when exactly it will do it. And the most classical one all of you would remember, actually, because that one was very controversial and there were a lot of trolls on the chart on that one, was the pound yen. Exactly, right? So just remember that every time. Let me just make sure that is fixed in you so that you will remember every time you thought that, hey, this guy said it's going to go up one more low, what the hell happened? Is that the one more low within this structure does not change the bigger structure, which means you have to be prepared. Otherwise, you would entirely miss that move. Right? Most of you did not get a pound yen because you were not prepared. You're looking at these little pieces dropping, and you're developing a fear inside. And then when that happens, you missed it. Your fear prevents you from getting into the trade. So this will happen. I'm going to put a 99.9% chance that is going to happen. I will leave 1% that I'm wrong because I know these patterns. I've seen them. These are classical patterns. These are not complicated patterns. They're complicated patterns when we really, we have to wait very long enough to tell what it's going to do sometimes. This one is just classical. And in rare cases, this one will not behave the way everything else behaved. Right? Yes, it can go more low, but it's not going aggressively down. Let me show you where you were when we said break this low and go. For the last 3 weeks or 2 weeks, you're still there. So although on the 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, and 1 hour, it looks to you like they're making huge downside, they're actually not. They're right where the low is, and that's all they need to do, break the low and go. So it could come here and go back one more, go there. You can trade it up, you can trade it down, and be ready for that trade. Right? There's no question of whether you can trade that up or down. So put it in a 4 hour. Watch this trade when it comes. You should be in the buy. There is a 1 hour buy setup actually. Let me show you that one. Here is a 1 hour buy setup. Right now, that is one of the expanding running flats we're talking about, right? You see this? 1, 2, 3, and then they go up. Now, when it comes here, you can get a similar one to that, except it's bigger. Right? So watch that for this move to go. When it gets to the top, you just have to be careful when it comes here. Anywhere between this area here, you have to be careful. That means move your stops. That's all. Right? Just move your stops and then wait. It drops. If you get the sell, you get it. If you don't get a sell, you buy again when it breaks the low. Right? If one more down possible, very big risk. There is no big risk, guys. You see, that's a kind of emotional trading in you that is preventing you from understanding how these patterns go. There is no big risk in anything here if you understand how structure behaves. Whether it drops one more or not. As a matter of fact, if it drops one more, your move to the upside becomes a better trade for you. There is no risk there. The risk is always the same, regardless of what you're looking at, right? You're risking money in something that you have to understand how it behaves, right? So just watch how it behaves. Watch for that move. There's a buy setup, and then we'll see how it happens when it comes in that area. You have a lot of pips to move your stops to break even to positive and then see where it goes. Silver, pretty much in a big sideways move now, and very likely they're going to go back down, right? You see, this is going to go back down because if you look at the whole structure, what silver is doing is this. So you remember I telling you this, we're expecting this from the time it started doing that to be equal to that, because we're looking at a 1, 2, 3. Well, we've got the 1 and we're in that 2, and they could go back up here. You know, they probably will. I don't think they're going to go back there. I don't see that part. I see them consolidating here and then drop. Let me show you where. I don't see this going back to break the top, but I can see them consolidating here and then drop. That is a possibility because we have a very nice running flat here. I think same thing I was showing you, right? Those running flats. We have a very nice one. And this is a chance that this could just do that and go down. If they do that, you want that trade. See? Aim for that trade. I don't see an upside structure here as yet. Right? There is no upside, so they're pretty much going sideways. And the whole bigger structure will give you this. And this is the buy zone. Those two lines you're seeing, there's a buy entry orders you should have there. Last week I told you about them. It's there. It's actually from 1550. We just dropped it a little lower. After this consolidation got bigger here, we dropped it a little lower based on this one. We're thinking that they could get to this level. So you can put one, that's 14.99, that's 15 almost. Put it at 15, put one at 14, I don't know, 14.50, somewhere there. And you can put one at 14. You will probably never see 14, but put one at 14 for the upside, because that will happen. I'll leave this here every week so we can track it. I don't think they're going to go up from here. I don't see a structure whereby they go up from here, unless I'm pretty much missing something in the chart, right? Unless this becomes one of those weird contracting flats, which I don't think. I'm not looking at it as a contracting flat as yet. So I can see them. I can even see them barely tagging this low. Maybe just come to about this low and then start to turn. That is a possibility. But we're going here because you can, if you see that, you'll have to take it, take the trade manually from there. Your entry orders will not get tagged. That is a possibility where they only break the low and turn. They might not get to your entry orders. So you'll have to be ready to take the trades from there. Gold, pretty much looking downside now. It was going sideways and we weren't too sure what those sharp moves or what they made. Looks like they made a nice running flat there and they're going down. Probably gonna see this area here. Let me take that off. It's consolidating in there. So you can see this, they consolidated, they break out, they consolidated, they break out, they probably make consolidation and drop. So we'll watch it when it comes here. This one is probably gonna go down. You got another running flat in there and then you're getting a downside, right? So we're looking for this possibility here. When it comes here, there's a good chance that might be the break to the downside because we're looking at the bigger picture in the daily. There's a good chance this not only come to the trend line, but break lower, right? So watch that trade. It's a good trade if you get it. If you trade gold, that's a good chance to get into the trade early and stay with it. And it's probably going to bounce around here a while, but we're expecting more downside, right? So let's see. Euro Oz doing what we expected to do. I think last week we did this. We were looking at this pattern. We're looking at this as a running flat in the middle. One of those weird ones. You probably would think you wouldn't understand that one unless you understand how we read the charts. We saw divergence coming. We saw this piece and we know there's a chance there, divergence, and this is coming. This could get very, very aggressive. Now, I don't think they're going to be so sharp. I think if they climb, they might end up doing something like that, right? But it's good trading to the downside, put it that way. You wait for a pullback to confirm the downside for yourself. This is one sharp move. Wait for a pullback or wait for a flag, which means if it is going to be very aggressive, you just have to wait for them to do something like that and trade it. If they're not going to be so aggressive, they'll probably do something like this and then trade it. whichever this piece will get a correction and then go. So if you jump in now at the bottom, you can be trapped into a long-term correction before they go. So which is going to be, let's see, we're in a big weekly corrective structure. We're making a down move like we made an up move. This is an up move within that correction. And we're going to make a down move. Is the down move going to be like this? Well, then you're going to get sharp move down, sharp moves up, sharp move down. If it is not going to be like that, you're likely going to get, a lot of pullbacks, a lot of pullbacks, depends on how that goes. But as long as you're going down and you can see the patterns, it's tradable. You can take trades. We understand how far, I think they can get to about this level eventually. So, the slower they go, sometimes the better it is for you. You get more opportunities to take trade. So wait for a pullback and then sell. You're in New Zealand. Pretty much the same thing. They broke the top and they fell exactly as we expected it to do, right? We looked at this when this was coming down. Remember I said, watch this, guys are probably going to go up slow. They did go slow, so you're getting a sell setup and you can take the sell anywhere. If you get a flag here, you take it from there. If they break through and then make the flag, well, or a correction most likely. If they break, you're looking for more of a correction, not a flag, and then you can take it to the downside. Right, so you've got one, you've got another one, and you're going down. Look for that structure. Euro CAD. Actually, what you're seeing is something we were doing in our room. I was showing. All these are trade setups we took in the trading. We were doing this in very much detail. I think all of you remember, right? We looked at the Euro CAD and we said, this thing should fall, but then it went and it broke the top. And we're looking at what that did. You see the sharp move down there, pull back, and then they just kept. So we're expecting this to come back here. How it's going to come, anybody's guess. It could come like this. It could come sharp, which means very sharp down. It doesn't matter. We'll track it as we go. And those are entry orders. As you could see, I think many of you should have those trades. All of you could see those trades. Those are entry orders when we took within our trade room. These were clear. Put your entry order there, put your entry order, put your entry order, put your entry order here. And I think we probably get 1 or 2 more entry orders going. Right? These are easy, right? It's not like you can't see them. You can see them, all of you can see them, why at those levels we were looking for the trades, right? So we'll just leave that. We're leaving it for our internal use, right? So it's going to go more. We knew this one, once it broke the top and it did that, we knew this was going to go sharp. So we were prepared for it. If it's going to go sharp, you want to get the trades in. You don't want to, we knew we were just waiting for it to break the top, right? Once it breaks the top, that's it. It's ready to go, right? That is where most people said it broke resistance or whatever they will say. Well, we don't look at that nonsense. We look at breaking the top, complete the pattern and turn. So it completes a pattern, it's turning, it's going to make deeper corrections. So all of these trades will have to come off a profit because at some point here, this will start to make deeper corrections. And then all of us who are not in, and all of you who are not in, could start to join that trade to the downside. It will, it always does make deeper corrections. So these will have to move and profit has to be taken out of them. Euro Swiss, this is another one we've been saying, watch it downside. Take that out. Watch this downside. Take this out. Good. It made 1, 2, 3 to get to that top. And right now we're looking at this piece because it's kind of like this one was supposed to go down very sharp, but it didn't daily properly, so you can see that. Daily. We wanted this to come back very sharp, but we started looking at it after they consolidated, whether they will probably make one more high and then come down. Because this move went very deep. We thought it would be flat, more of a 1, 2, 3 come here and turn to the downside. They're going very high and they're not coming down as yet. Right? So this downside is, you see, they're going more sideways. But I think for this week, you will get sell setups. This one will probably drop some more. So look for this week, sell setup, take profit in this, don't keep it. This is not like the CAD moving. And if this doesn't go very sharp back up, you can take this trade. If it doesn't go very sharp, then, just take profit out of it and wait to see if they break to the upside. If they break to the upside here, don't buy immediately. Wait until they break this level, make a flag and then go. Why? Because this could be a flat in the middle there before they go down. Right? They didn't break the low very much, and they could be making a flat. See, this low was just broken here. This could go right here and turn and go down. So you don't just want to buy this breakout. You want to wait for them to make a flag here before you go. But if they come back, then you can look for a breakout for a sell, at least to retest the slow. And if that is the move, they're going to go very fast. Right? I hope that's not confusing for you, because I'm looking in terms of pattern, and sometimes I make the assumption that then everybody sees that pattern too. Right? And that's not so for many of you who are not wave traders. It doesn't mean it's complicated. It just means that you can't recognize it as yet. Euro yen, you may want to look for buy setups in this. They did fall as we expected, making a three-wave, this sharp move up. They made 1, 2, 3, started going back here. So watch at this stop. We don't know how complicated this pattern in here will get, but if they stay here and they go, once they start breaking that structure, you want to trade that up back to the top. So go to the 4-hour. There's a good chance that this might still be a big expanding flat for the upside. So keep your eyes on this one here. At least one more impulse to the upside, and then we will see what they did from there. So this comes back here, go one more impulse there, then we'll see they're going to come down. There's a good chance they will retest the top. Very good chance. So, and that might be mostly because of the yen, not because of the euro. But at least you can get one more impulse up. And that is about 100 and something pips up. Euro pound. We're waiting for them to come back one here. This arrow is out because they're already coming here. Sorry. We'll probably get one more down there. Let's put that in a 4-hour. This come back here, and then we will probably retest it up. I don't think they're going down totally, because this structure is not downside totally. It's repeating what they did here. If you were in the last one, remember, every time you sold, you need to take profit. Same thing here. If you sell that, if you sell this one, not that one, take profit. If they make a next consolidation here and you sell it, take profit. They'll make a next one drop, take profit, because somewhere along here, they'll start to go back up. Just repeating what they made in this structure here. So you will get one more of that to the upside. Very likely. So sell, don't sell it, wait for it to come back, then sell. Just see what they did across here. And then sell it. When they come to around the trend line, take profit, because you're going to go back up. Pangos is really a nuisance. We're selling and getting break even, selling and getting break even, and now it's finally breaking. Don't just jump in the trade as yet. The reason you see those two lines there is because if you look at it, you can see this. And that means they can do this and then start to drop very sharply. The pattern would be 1, 2, 3, still within that impulse. So at this point, if you're in a sell, move your stops especially my traders, move your stops very tight. Some of you might be in the sell, move your stops very tight. Because what you're going to expect to confirm, we want confirmation that this is the start of the drop. It could be, we're not saying that cannot be the drop. This consolidation may be over and this is dropping, but you want to see another flag in here on a 4-hour before you convince yourself that it's going to go very far. If you see any 1-hour flag and you sell it, make sure you move it to break even pretty fast, right? Because there's still that chance of them coming back to the top here and then actually going, making this one a more complex flat pattern in the middle before they go. And it's not like we haven't seen that before. I probably would be able to show you right on the powers a few of those patterns. If you go back in time, they do make very, very complex patterns sometimes before they go. Look at this piece here. See that? They had an impulse up. I think the impulse was in this one. And then they spend a whole lot of time in the sideways there. See that? The impulse was the lowest one, would be this one. That was your first impulse up. Then they came back down, they went back up, they came back down, went back up, came back down, and then take off. So you see that big flat in the middle there, how complex it is within that impulse before they go. So just think of this impulse here, this one going up there, and we're at the top here. That is this impulse coming down, right? So you can see all that correction. They could probably go back up again, right back to the top here. Make this flat, and then come down. It doesn't have to be a straight one. It could even be something like this. And then drop. That doesn't mean that the downside is not going to come, just like this didn't mean if they consolidate here so long, they're not going to go up, right? Once they break out of there, that's it, they took off. See, you want to see this consolidation, you want to see that consolidation, then you buy. So it's pretty much the same thing. They're just consolidating at the top to come down. If this is the one going, you could, and you could wait for 60-minute, wait for a very good 60-minute flag and put it to break even, or wait for a 4-hour correction and then they trade. If they're just going to take off from there, any 60-minute flag, you put it to break even, you wouldn't have to worry about it. It's either going to go or turn back, take you out for break even, and then go back out. Pound New Zealand. This is another crazy one. Got a sharp move down, got a sharp move up. They're making consolidations really. They'll probably do this, tag the top and then come down. So you can see that all pound pairs are showing this possibility before they go down. That's the pound Aus, that's the pound New Zealand. This is the consolidation in here to go back one more up and then come down, making 1, 2, 3. Let me use a different color for that. 1, 2, 3. This is your impulse, and this should be your impulse. So if you're in a sell setup here, same thing. You want to be careful. Move your stops. And start even looking for buy setups. Because one more up is very likely. As a matter of fact, you're starting to get a buy setup right there. Don't get too aggressive, but you can. I think most of you can see that already. An impulse up, and they're consolidating for more upside. So this would look upside. CAD. If CAD goes up, we did break that daily top, finally, right? Remember we did was climbing up at this level. We said this is the only one that could go back up and break the top. Well, they finally broke the top. See, so any upside here, I don't think, we know pound also has a possibility. We know pound New Zealand has a possibility. Any upside here would be a correction, not an impulse. Any upside here will be something like this for more downside. So you're not looking for this to go back up big time. It could go up, but that would be more within a corrective structure for downside, because there's very clearly that we probably started that downside. The move down is very aggressive, very sharp. You can see that they drop this, take this off. Oh, by the way, sorry, not supposed to have all of this for you guys. Take those off there. Watch this here. Sharp move, correction, buy. Right? Make another correction, buy. And they could come all the way to the top there, but most likely it could still be a correction for downside. So you can buy. Watch this. If they break this through, let them break through this trend, and any bigger 4-hour correction, there would be your longer term trade all the way to the bottom. So all the pound pairs are showing a very big move down. Except first they have to correct, or they have to retest the top within the correction, right? We're coming to the pound chief. And very similar structure. We still have this sharp impulse down. We still have this sharp impulse down. Within this impulse, they made a pullback, go, made a pullback, go, making a pullback. Only one way we would see this is going to retest that top. I don't think they're retesting the top for downside. I want to see them pull back like this. Only if we see this structure, we would make an assumption they're going to retest the top. But within this move, this could just be a pullback within a more complex sideways move here for downside. So pound Swiss, not expecting this to go up very much more, because I think we've completed that structure already. This is pretty clear. They do make deep pullback. You can see that this one made a very deep pullback here before it falls. So we can see this deep pullback coming here. And we're still expecting them to come here. Some kind of an expanding flat in the middle here before they come back down. This is more like this. And then we still think that this is more of a consolidation. So like I said, the only thing will change that consolidation there is if they give you a downside move, which means if they give you a deeper correction downside. So this sharp move could be some kind of a C wave within. I don't think it's this one. I would go with this 1, 2, 3 in the middle. We're going to look at that pattern there. Might be complex for some of you. And this could go down. Or if they make a flag here, well, then we will say, well, maybe we got that wrong and we were looking at that pattern incorrectly, and this is going to retest the top and then come down. The downside is still the must. Only question is, will they go retest the top like the pound Oz and the pound? Well, this is the absolute top. Pound Oz and pound New Zealand is not retesting the absolute top. They're retesting the top of the consolidation. They're making a final impulse within that consolidation before they drop. So same here. We don't think this should go and break the top. We think they're still consolidating for downside. Pound Yen. If there's anyone that could go up very sharp to break the top and then come down, will be the pound yen. So if you're following, you'll remember that in this piece, we were like, when it started to do this and do that, and then not dropping and then doing that, and we were like, okay, this is confusing, right? And by the time it get to that level, we started saying, okay, we would look at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, go make a 5 for a C wave before you go down. So that is how we're looking at this structure. An A, a B, and all of this is a complex C wave pattern. One of what you will call a squeeze. All of you know the AB squeeze, except this squeeze is not so small and it's not so tight like we regularly see them on the 60 minutes. So can this go back to retest the top before it comes? I think so. If we think all pound pairs could make one more up move, and if we think that the yen could still go up, then pound yen might be the one that moves the most to the upside. So is the pound possibly could make one more move up? If you look at the pound right now in this structure, this piece here in the 4 hour, let's say the 1 hour. Remember what we were saying is watch this piece here. It could go back up here for one more. That will complete a flat pattern here before they go downwards very sharp. So if this plays out, then all the pound pairs will give us this move up and then very sharp move down. Most of them have that structure already built in. I don't see any other way how they can play out this yet. But this one could continue to go up to retest this top, make a new high. And if that happens, then the other pairs, they may go very deep to the upside as we are planning, right? Some of them may be very deep, like the pound yen may make a new top as well. Pound Swiss might, unlikely, but might make a new top. Not that we are thinking they're doing that. I'm not so inclined to believe we will make a new top here because of the whole bigger daily structure. I'm inclined to think they will just break this top and go. And there's a specific reason for that because we're looking at this right now as kind of a leading diagonal to the downside. We've seen those patterns and they look very similar. Not exactly the same, but very similar. So if this one confirms the flat in the middle here for us, that's a big downside. If that flat doesn't confirm and they go very sharp, well, we test the top and then down again. Buy it to the upside and start selling it from the top. Let's go back to where we were, pound yen. That's the one we're looking at. So we think this could make a new high because of the daily structure. It could make a new high there and then come down, right? That would still be a bigger move to the downside. Aussie CAD. Aussie CAD would probably go a little more up. I think we can get it to go a little more up. They'll probably come to this top. We're looking at a running flat in the middle here, a very big one. It's not very tradable because we saw the flat from here. And for those traders of us, those are my traders who bought here and thought they will go straight, right? They end up taking you out at this point for very little profit, if possible, break even, and then they continue to do that with a very, very slow pace. So you couldn't get any trade. So what you would look for, let it finish this, and on the way down, that would be tradable. That move on the way down there would be very tradable. It would be a bigger move to the downside. Aussie Swiss. We're in this big sideways move here. See? Very likely this piece would come back here. Right? I don't think they're going to go test the top because we're looking at 1, we're looking at 2, we're expecting this to come back here and maybe then go. So go back to the 4 hour. Remember when this was coming down, we said we expected to go make a flat, go back, break this top, and then come down. Well, they're moving very high, and that's a little abnormal because even in the expanding flats, they would stop short somewhere here and then go. So we're looking at 1, we're looking at 2, we're looking at 3, and we will see if we get that trade down, which means if they turn, make a flag, you can start to sell for that wave down. Right, that should be a big move. If it keeps going up, every trade you take would have to be a short-term trade with profit. So how would I take a trade to the upside? Well, they got to make a very nice pullback. I wouldn't be buying this until I see an absolute, very nice, easy corrective structure and take profit off of it. Because downside is what it's looking like it's going to do. Aussie, New Zealand, same here. We're getting some upside. This one is going to do exactly what we wanted to do in the daily. And I remember I told my traders, we're probably not going to get any trade in it because the downside is getting really, really crazy. It looks very neat here. Remember, we're expecting this wave down. One, when this was happening, we said that's not the impulse. We thought they would do this. We started buying this thing from here for that move up. And personally, me, I got taken out of this up trade right at the bottom here, right within this. All of that give up. And then when they break here, some of my traders got, I didn't get that trade. And then they came back and they took the guys out for here again. And we were like, okay, what is happening here? And then we saw that structure, like, okay, 1, 2, come back here. But this trade will go. It's not going to break this low, ever. But it will break this low. And this not, I don't think this one is the one going to break the low, because if you look at the first move coming down, they came down in a very complex manner. 1, 2, 3. So somewhere in here, they're going to make a 2 very soon. They'll come back for the 3. And then once they break this low, it will be a very, very fast move to the upside. So sometimes this C wave could get aggressive and come down without giving you the big B wave like this one. Happens sometimes. So if you're going to track it, and if you get good trade setups, take it. If you don't, you're unlikely going to get, because even we're tracking it and we're not seeing very clear good setups. The guys get into trade and then turns out to break even because they spike it up back. You get a nice sell, you thought it's going to go, and then you get a sudden spike. Part of the pattern, but not these rare patterns that you're not expecting. So if you took that sell there, look what happened. You're going to get a break even, right? And you'll have to just take it. So it's not going down. They probably go up more. I can see this going up. I think you probably just stay out of this. Don't trade this. That's the whole purpose. Wait until this finish what it's doing. And then on the upside, this will probably take 6 months more. Then we start trading it to the upside. You can just ignore this one chart for a whole 6 months more. And then we start trading it to the upside. Aussie Yen, upside. This is not new news. We were expecting all the yen pairs last week to go up. And I still think they will go. Aussie Yen still upside. Wait for pullback. If you're not in the trade, wait, they're consolidating. Wait for consolidation, take the trade. New Zealand Yen, upside. Nothing surprising. We were expecting that to go up, right? So wait for this. If you're not in the trade also, wait for pullbacks and then get into the trade. Don't jump in them, because like the yen dollar, they all have the possibility to retest the lows. Not that I think this one will do it, right? So wait for flags, wait for corrections, and take the trade. They're making a flag here, so you can take the trade if you get it after that. New Zealand CAD, downside. Looks like they're going to make one more up. Right, looks like this might give you one more up here. Pretty much like the CAD dollar. If the CAD dollar gives you that one more up, you might get it. And then the downside. But in the big picture, this thing will go down. So only wait only for it to break first and confirm that, because this piece is not going down as an impulse. This here is going down more as a corrective structure for possible one more up and then the downside. So this week you might get that trade to the upside. This week you may be heading for the upside with that nice trade. So New Zealand Swiss, like all Swiss pairs, right? Very confusing. But at least we were expecting them, like all Swiss pairs too, we were expecting them to come back, most of them, break this low and then go back up. So we're looking at 1, we're looking at 1, 2, 3 in some kind of a triangular looking pattern. I don't think it's more of a contracting flat, because we didn't break the low, we didn't break the top. I don't think this one is totally going up, because then we'll have to relook at this whole structure again. As long as they're in the consolidation, they can do anything until you eventually figure out what the bigger structure is, what the entire structure is. Right now, it would be very nice for us if this comes down, because that will complete this pattern, more like something like this, right? You got a sharp move down, you got a little pullback here, or you got a move, you got a pullback there, and then you drop this pullback here, drop there, and then go. So if they do that, that would be great. We'll get a good trade to the downside. If they don't, we just leave the upside. I would leave the upside until they break out of this structure. Complete break of that structure will convince me that the upside has started. This doesn't have much more to go. Let it finish that. If they turn from anywhere in here to the downside, this would be a good trade. It would be a very sharp impulse. CAD Yen, all yen pairs. Turning, going back up. Yes, this could go back. At least as a deep correction or as a sharp move to retest the top. And if it starts going sharp, they can go like that. They can go like this. So you can get a very sharp move back to the top there. Keep your eyes on them. All yen pairs. Right? Check this out. Just wait for flags, buy. Wait for flags, buy. Swiss yen. This is the only one that hasn't broken as yet to the upside. And this is the classical one. This is supposed to be the easy one. Remember, all of them had very complicated structure for upside. But if there was one of them that has the classical structure, it was this one. If you remember last week, I said, watch this one here, because this has one, it has 1, 2, 3, and it got another sharp one. You can see these two sharp waves. And it's within an up move. So this one has to go. And it will go, right? It has to go and it will go. So keep your eyes on this one. Right? If you're not in the trade, we're looking at this pattern. We took this pattern from this one down here. This piece here. How that one turned. After we are not getting the turn, we try to figure out how that turned. And when we bring it across here, we said, oh, I see. We can get a number more of these downside before it actually turns. That does not mean it will not turn. It just means that this one is getting complicated at the bottom. And you can see that turn coming, right? It's pulling back, it's pulling back. It's probably going to pull back a number of times, but just be ready for the upside, right? This one is definitely the classical one. I mean, if we weren't so sure that all the rest will either go up or make correction, we're absolutely sure about this one going up. Well, because we've seen this pattern like, I don't know, as much as you've been in trading, all of you might have seen a pattern like that, right? It's classical, it always happens. Is this the one instance it doesn't happen? Well, I'd rather be wrong about it and let it don't happen, and I'm not in the trade. But I would always go for that trade so that I don't miss it. And that's the whole point about trading, is that if you see something repeats itself 90% of the time, you go for that 90%. You're not trading in the 10% range, right? That's playing with luck, right? Oh, well, 10% of the time it's going to go this way, so I'm going to go for the 10%. Well, that means 9 out of 10 of your trades you will lose. And that's not what you want as traders, right? You want to be in the side that has a higher probability. And this side has the higher probability. So keep your eyes on this one. We'll leave it as it is there. CAD Swiss, finally breaking up. I think I may have shown you this daily structure. And there's only one problem with this daily structure, which is the low, this one or this one. And depending on which broker you're looking at, we found 3 brokers that have this as the low and 3 brokers that has this as the low. And we decided we're just going to stay a little out of this for a while until it proves what it's doing. If it turns from here, great. We're coming back to the top. See? And that means it should go. So let's see. It's going. Wait for a pullback, take the trade. Let it confirm the upside. It will confirm that upside with a very small flag. Maybe in the 60 minutes, maybe in the 4-hour, very small flag, and you will take it. And when I said small flag, I mean small one. We're not expecting sharp moves to the upside. I mean, big correction. We got a small flag, they go. They got a small correction, they go. They get another one, they go. You might get a deep correction only here and then finish the move. So we were expecting this one to keep going, right? Let's go. Oh, the tools I use for the purple one, I think Alexander just answered. You grab it from right here. You just copy it. I think it's right here. Let me see. No, somewhere here. Where the hell is it? It's somewhere in this thing. Okay, this one, the bar patterns there. You grab it and you make a copy of it and move it. Let's go. Copper. Copper came down. We remember the last time we were looking at this structure and we thought this one was going to go. We had 3 nice trades and then we took 2 profit and 1 break even. Because once it come back, we said, now that we realized that it's just becoming a bigger correction from here. So this trade will still happen. Just that this piece is much of a bigger correction, right? That trade will still happen and you can look for that trade actually, right? You can look to buy that one. Let them break. There's a chance they'll probably come one more lower. They don't have to, but they can come one more lower and then go. If they break here, make a flag, buy for that trade. US oil, it's in a big sideways move. See, take this off and take this off. It's in a big sideways move, and that means that you're in a consolidation that will probably go up and down. This is your first impulse. You can see they're consolidating there. They'll probably do this and come back here. 1, 1, 2, 3. You'll probably get a short buy there, but then you're looking for them to retest the low. Here's a classical one. 1, 1, 2, 3, test the top, right? So we're looking, this is the middle of it, and then they actually come back low because this was your pattern, right? So we're not expecting them to go retest that top, but they can retest the top, right? If you take this first impulse here, and you take this one, this could go retest that top and then come back here, right? What percentage is normal to get break even depends on your trading strategy. Another question that could just answer off the block. Depends on how you trade, what's your trading strategy, what's your method of analysis and all of that. But I mean, break even is not a losing trade, right? The number one job of a trader is to protect your capital. That comes first. We all want to make money, but we can only make money if we have money, right? You can only make money if you have capital to make money. In this business, you definitely need capital to make money. So if you can protect your capital, you can trade tomorrow. So break even, that's protecting your capital. Now, at the end of the webinar, obviously, I'll show you a small calculation about that. US oil, very similar. UK oil, sorry, very similar. It's in a consolidation here, and very likely this is a daily consolidation. They'll go back up, maybe retest that top. You can even look for a short term. I don't think this buy would be good because if it goes fast, you wouldn't get it. If they consolidate here, maybe then. And then look for downside again because you're liking that big flag there to go down, most likely. The sell would always be good in this case. If you get a sell setup, it will always be good because you're looking for the next impulse to the downside after the consolidation. Natural gas will go back, retest the low. We were a little worried about whether this broke the low. It doesn't matter if it breaks the low, they'll go back one more down. So you can look for sell setups, and that means this will probably go back here. That should be a good trade, right? Once they retest that low, we wanted it to break the low, come here, and then the big. I think this pattern is easy. You can see it. It's classical too, right? It's pretty easy. You got a sharp move down. You got one sharp move. You got a correction. You got another sharp move, and you're finishing this wave with this pattern here. They'll probably come here and then start to go back up, right? So that is an easy one. The move to the downside now is no longer that big, but you could get some nice trades there. S&P 500 just consolidating exactly as we thought it would do. They made a running flat in the middle going up. Watch it somewhere here for sell setups because you're in a very complex pattern, but it's simple for you to see. A, a B, and a C, and we're going for a C there to finish that move to come down. See? It's easy, right? We actually got this correct all the way. I still think this is the bigger one, so you'll come here and then you'll come back down. That is not a big downside. This is a big daily correction. You'll get more highs in the S&P, which means when they come here, they'll go back up. It's just going to make a very complex correction here, maybe more complex than this simple one we draw here might be just a part of the whole correction. DAX, pretty much the same thing. This couldn't be all the corrections, so they're going back up, and this one will get very complex. But this one, this start and this piece here is not showing us any complete pattern we know. So we have to wait for a lot of pieces more in here to see a very good pattern that is tradable. You can trade this up, you can trade it down, but the whole big pattern is not unknown as yet. Let's see. Nifty. A lot of C waves don't make 5 waves. That's not a question. That's not something we discuss here, because we're going to start a whole. You're going to get most elite waivers come trolling me for that, right? Because they read the book, and somewhere in the book it read that C wave should be 5 waves, and they manufacture 5 waves where there is no 5 waves. Okay, that's your. If you want to do it that way, that's okay, but that's not what's happening in the real business. In the real structure, that's not what's happening, and we have found out that very early. That C waves are not always 5 wave structures. Some of them are 3 wave structures. But hey, we're not starting an argument with anybody. Use whatever you want. We have our rules, you have your rules. Go ahead and manufacture waves if you have to. We don't manufacture waves where there shouldn't be a wave, right? So we got this. It didn't break the top, made a contracting flat. Is this totally going down? I think no, right? I think this thing is making some kind of a bigger pattern here before they go. Right, you notice all of them are showing me some upside. So the my traders who are in the trade, you got to be careful. If you think this is where they should have taken the trade, you want to move your stops, get out of this, and wait to see if it consolidates here. Wait to see if this thing consolidates here, because if it does that, then you go. And if they make a small flag here, you buy it back to the top for an expansion, and then we will go, right? Let's go. Let's see what else. Let's do some cryptocurrencies for all the people who joined us. Where's Bitcoin, by the way? Oh, got it here. Bitcoin. See, it's following the arrows, right? The guys call this the magic arrows. You go one down, one up, one down. Those were sell set up for you guys. Look for buys now. The buys are coming already. The buys are still part of a correction. This thing is in a long-term correction. So this upside is not total upside. It's just a correction, part of a correction. You can probably trade it. I don't think this wave will go down more. It could, because this is the low, and that doesn't mean that they can't go somewhere. Watch this piece here to see if it's a flat. If this piece turns out to be a flat, it will go down. You'll sell the break. But if they make a flag here, you buy. Make a flag, you buy. Make a flag, you buy. You see these flags? These are flags. 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 Same thing. They make flags, buy. That's it. All right. Let's go. Ethereum. You're starting to get some buy setups here too, and it will probably be the same thing. Correction. They may move it up like this and then down back. This could be more of a flat pattern there. Watch it. Very likely. If this piece is going down more, I don't see that. Watch for the break of this. I think when you will see that here when you start to get flags for upside, and if they break, pull this line, and if they break it at any point, sell. Short-term take profit. The sell is not big. They're not going to go down very much. They're just moving sideways. Ripple, you should be buying. Right? The buying the Ripple is coming. We thought that was the low. I think this is the low as well. I could see this probably going back here. See that going back there? So you got a 1, you got a 2, you got a 3, you got a 1, you got a 2, you got a 3, probably come back here. There'll probably be more consolidation. But this one looks good for the upside, at least at this level, and maybe they'll break out. Just keep your eyes on that. Good trade. This is going to come here and probably go down back. Let's see. What else? At least you can trade it back to the top here. I think that's about it. What else you have to do? Okay, what is it? Dow. I have it there. Same structure, very similar to the S&P 500 with this running flat in the middle. This is a nice buy going back. They'll probably break this top, and then we'll probably come back down. We're looking for a 1, 2, 3 structure. What else? I'd appreciate if you can put your question down. Copy paste mine. What is the question? Okay. So, okay, guys, this week, as you notice, most of the charts will be pretty much in consolidation, right? But they're tradable. These consolidations move, right? At least even with the C wave, you could get 60, 70 pips out of it. So if you trade with care, you use good money management, you can make money. Somebody was asking me a question. Let me answer that one, and then we go. Remember how much break even you can take before you make profit. So let me give you a very simple calculation. Now, remember, you don't have to use this. This was not based on your strategy, right? This is based on something I showed new traders, absolutely new traders who are now learning to trade and cannot handle risk very much. This is what I say to them. Let's take 100 trades for you, right? Let's say you take 100 trades. And every trade setup you get, you take. Every single one, you take it at 0.5% of your account. Right? Because you're new, you're not taking big risk, you don't want to get yourself into trouble. So you take every single trade setup you see at 0.5% account. And let's say for the week, let's say you take an average of 2 or 3 trades a day. Right? So that will take you some time, not very long, to make 100 trades. You take every one you see. Right? Once it's a good trader based on your analysis, you take it. And when that trade goes in your direction, you move it to break even. So let's make an assumption. You would be wrong some of the times. So let's make an assumption that you lose, let's say, 20 trades. You win 30 trades. And you get break even 50 trades. Every trade you lose, you're losing 0.5%. Every trade you win, you should win at least 1% or 2%, depending on what trade you take. I will go for the trades that have 2 and above, or 1.5 and above percent. So let's go and average 1.5% you're making in every trade you make. That's 3 to 1. That's easy to get if you're taking every single trade, right? So if you look at this, you're thinking 0.5, 1.5. So you would lose 10% of your account here. 30 multiplied by even 1 would be 30%. Otherwise, you're making 45% of your account here. And all of this is breaking 50%. Are you making money? You are, right? How many of you can say, all the trades I take, hey, I'm making money? Most of you are losing money, literally, right? Because some of you trade 5% per trade. Some of you take 2% per trade. You do all kind of stuff, and you still lose money, right? Well, the problem with all these math that you will see, you can use 0.5, you can use 1. I use 0.5 simply because I know you will make a lot of mistakes. And I'm putting out of this 50% break even, I'm taking that to be trades you would have lost. Even part of that you probably would have win that took you out for break even, ignore it, forget about it. Those are trades you didn't have confidence and they didn't go well for you, right? We're taking 30% is going well, which is 30 out of 100. 20 did not go well at all. You didn't manage to get those to break even. You just lost them. These you managed to get to break even. You will still make money. And as you learn and as you gain experience from there, you can tweak your entries, you can tweak your stops, you can tweak when you put them to break even, and you will get better at it as you go. Now, what is the problem with all of these calculations? You have seen those calculations before, right? I think you may have seen every single gurus out there tell you about those calculations. Here's what is the biggest issue with all those calculations. Your analysis. How you analyze the chart and how do you see the chart. Because if your analysis is no good, if you can't analyze the chart good, you're going to lose 100 out of 100 trades. You might win 10, that's luck. That's pure luck. You might win 20, that is pure luck. You're not trading based on luck. You would not drive a car based on luck. You will not do anything based on luck. You would want some knowledge before you do it. You want to make sure you know all the rules of the road before you drive the car. You will want to have some experience before people don't go to any job and say, hey, I've never done this, but just try me. Give me a chance. Maybe I'll succeed, right? It doesn't work. So they will take you and train you to do it. Make sure you're doing it very good, right? So the problem with all those mathematical calculations is not that they are incorrect. Is they don't work for you if your analysis is no good, right? If your analysis is no good, it doesn't work. It's like saying, okay, a doctor may make mistakes. Doctors in general make, 1% or 2% mistakes in their whole thing. And that is okay. You will say, okay, there are, medical mistakes, doctor make that 2% or 1%. But here's the problem. If you're not a doctor, you're going to make 100% mistake. Doctors may make mistakes, but that is less because they're trained. and they're educated. If you're not, you're going to just make about 100% mistake. Most of your patients will die. And the only ones that survive is pure luck. Absolute luck, they will survive because you have no knowledge. Think of it that way, right? It's the same thing here. If you're going to trade without knowledge, you're likely going to break your account. It doesn't matter what mathematical calculation you have on your side. It wouldn't work. So all those calculations work. I do that for my new traders. I said, this is how you need to learn to trade because I know you want to make a lot of trade. I know you don't have the skill level as if so do this as a mathematical thing and use the analysis we gave you to use because you should get very good at that. And as a matter of fact, in time, they get so good at their analysis that even that, if they stick to that same, put all the break-even thing 0.5, they do amazing. They do get amazing results with that, right? They don't even want to increase that because it's working for them very good. And it's very comfortable trading at 0.5% per trade. Of course, as you get better and as you get more capital, you will change that style, right? That style doesn't work all the time. You don't want to take 100 trades, a month or so. You want to take 5 trades a month or 6 very selective trades a month, right? Because you're dealing with bigger capitals. The bigger the capital, the less trade you want to take, the less maneuver you want to do. You don't want to be taking trades every day, every 5 minutes when you have huge capitals to trade, right? You would know that. That's normal. But for small traders, yes, you can start by doing that. So remember, everything looks nice on paper. All those math they show you and all those things. Like one guy said, you could flip a coin. If you flip a coin 50-50, you have a 50% chance of getting a head or a tail. So if you flip 100 coin, you should get about 50 head or 50 tail, right? That's not true. That's so wrong. The problem with that is every time you flip a coin, there is a 50% chance on every flip. So you can get 100 heads or 100 tail out of 100 flips because everyone is independent of the previous one. And when I heard this guy said that, I did mention it somewhere that is the craziest thing I've ever heard anybody talk because he didn't even take time to think about it or do some research on it. He just said it because he heard it somewhere. And a few trolls came in and said, man, you should not criticize people like that. It's not good. You're not professional. I am professional. That is why I'm trying to share the knowledge with people and say, hey, don't do that nonsense. Don't go flip coin and take trades. And if anybody tells you that trading has something to do with that, it's random, you can flip coin, run away from that person. The reason you want to run away from him is because he has no idea what he's talking about. Any guru out there that said this has no idea what he's saying. It's just that simple. And I don't see what's unprofessional of saying, hey, this business has a lot of scammers in it. What's unprofessional about saying that? Any one of you don't know that there's a lot of scammers in this business? Any one of us traders don't know that. We all know that. I think that's the first thing you learn when you come into this business. There are a lot of scammers out there. Shouldn't we say there are? Or we should all stay quiet and say, hey, no, man, that guy said a really great thing. If you flip a coin, 100 coin, you're going to have 50 heads or 50 tails. No, you wouldn't. It doesn't work that way. And there's no time if you flip a coin, the advantage is going to be on your side. See, you got to be the luckiest person in the world. So don't trade like that. Trade your trading like a business. You have to have knowledge first. You make the choice. The choice is yours. The choice is yours. I'm just sharing the knowledge, right? The choice is yours. What you do. You want the knowledge? Up to you. You know what to do if you want it. So, okay, guys, all of you have a good week. Sorry to end in such a very bad note. I was going to end in a more optimistic note for everybody. All of you have a good week. Success to you. See you next week. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye. Thank you for coming. Don't forget to share the videos, right? I'll see all of you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.